Hey guys, it's Trey back again with another video. And in the last video, we set up our UI to be able to create tickets for us. So in this video, I want to continue on with that, and we want to add functionality to allow us to update tickets in the UI. The first thing I want to do is change this state name because right now I realize it might be a little confusing because this ticket here is not the same as this ticket here. So when you see this ticket, you might think it's the same as this ticket, and it's not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename these this state to reflect that it's a different ticket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say call this one current ticket, and then I'll say set current ticket, and we'll change this out. So we're going to start at the top and just scroll down and change all the references. So as we go, we see here we're calling set ticket. We want to call set current ticket, and then let's keep going. All right, so in our ticket form, all of these tickets are our current ticket. So we're going to change all of these to current ticket. All right, so now I have changed all of these to current ticket, and I think we're done. So as you can see now, this ticket here is not the same as this ticket here. All right, just wanted to make that clear. The next thing we need to do is, in order to update a ticket, we need to be able to set that ticket into the form so that we can change its values. So the way we'll do this is inside of this this ticket list here, we're going to add an on-click function, and this is going to allow us to click on a ticket and add that ticket's information to the form so that it can be changed. So inside of here, we're going to create a new function, and we're going to call set current ticket, and then we'll just pass in the ticket. Okay. So what this on click is going to do is it's going to list out the tickets, and if we click on the ticket, it's going to add that information to the form so that we can change it. All right. So once we have that, we need to be able to actually, when we push the submit button, we want to update the ticket. But right now, all we have is a function to create a ticket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this send create request function to allow us to be able to update or create using the same function. So what I'm going to do is, since this is not going to be solely a create function anymore, I'm going to change this to send save request. So send save request is going to handle creates and updates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to where we call this, and this is going to be inside of our ticket form. I'll change that to send save request, and if I scroll back up to the top here, here's the top of our function. Let me close this, and what we're going to do is we're going to update this function. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ticket out of the create ticket function here. I'm just going to pull that out of there. I'm going to completely erase this this setup here, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a new variable that's going to hold our ticket. So we're going to call this new ticket, and then I'm going to paste in that ticket from what we had before. The difference here is now we need to add in some logic to change out the date, because when we select that ticket, the date's going to come in as a string. So we want to format this date the same way we did in our ticket form. Where is it at? Here we go. See how we did this format date? We want to do the same thing here when we update a ticket. So we're going to say format date. Remember to import this. So I have auto imports on, so it imported it for me, but remember to import that from our utility class. All right, so we call format date, then we want to set up a new date with the create date that was passed in. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing for update date. So I'm going to copy this, Paste it there. Change this to update date. All right. So now that will format our date in the correct way so that we can send it to the database and store it. From here, we need to go ahead and actually use this new ticket to send off to the database. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to set up a new value that's going to hold. So last time we had our created ticket value, this value here, but we're going to change this to be called saved ticket. All right, and then we're going to check if the ID is a valid value. So if the ID is a valid value, that means this ticket already exists. And if this ticket already exists, we want to update it. All right, but if this ID doesn't exist, then that means it's a new ticket and we want to create a ticket. So the way we'll check this is we'll say ID, and then we'll use this syntax once again. So we'll do the question mark, and that's if ID is a valid value, then we want to update our ticket. So we're going to call await update ticket, and then we're going to pass in the ID and also our new ticket. Okay. And if ID is not a valid value, then we want to create a new ticket. So we're going to call await create ticket, and then we'll just pass in the new ticket here. All right. So I'm going to save this. It's going to reformat. Okay. So now we have our save ticket here. So basically, it's checking which one it should call, and it calls it depending on the ID. And once we get that, we can change these to saved ticket. All right, and the rest of the logic stays the same. All right, so we'll just set the save ticket and do that. Now that we have that done, we need to go ahead and make a couple of updates. If we go to our ticket service, we see for our create ticket, we're doing this check to make sure that we are actually getting a valid response back. So if the ticket was created, then we should get a status of 200. If we don't, then we just want to return nothing. All right, so we're going to do the same thing for our update. So if we scroll down to update ticket, underneath our actual call to the database, we can add this exact same check-in, and then we'll change this to update. So it'll say could not update ticket, and then it'll return null, and that's what we want. If we go to our ticket form, there is something we need to change regarding our state variables here. So when we update the current ticket, it's going to pass the information back into this form, and we should see a re-render. And we will see a re-render for ID, create date, and update date. But since we're showing the values from these T stat summary, T priority, T status, then these values will not update just when we pass in the new values. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to set up a way for us to set those values, and the way we're going to do that is in a use effect block. So I'm going to import use effect here from React. So as you can see, popped up here. I import it, and then I'm going to set this right here to ID. So whenever the ID changes, we're going to run the code in this block. All right. So what I need to do is we're going to call set T summary, and then we'll set that to summary. We'll call set T priority, and we're going to set that to this, and I'm going to get rid of the low here. All right, so now we set that there, and then we'll call set T status, and we'll do the same thing here. And I'll drop that off, and then we drop that in there. All right, so now every time the ID changes, we will update these three values. So that's good there. And one last thing that we need to do is here in the server.js, in the backend code, we need to update this return value, because if we go to our ticket service, when we update a ticket, we see that we delete the ID from the ticket, and that's the way we can ensure that we're not updating a different ticket from the ticket that's um, specified on the URL. So when we do that, um, our backend code just returns the ticket that we passed in once it's successful. So the problem with this is our ID doesn't exist on this ticket anymore. So we need to add it back. So the way we'll do this is we'll set up an object that we're going to return. We're going to say dot 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 ticket, which is going to grab every value off of our ticket and put it into this object. And the last thing we need to do is add the ID back in. So we're going to take this ID that was passed in, and we will set it back. That way it'll be available on the ticket and show up in the form. All right. So with that being said, we should be done. We should be able to actually run this and update some tickets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my terminal, and this is the backend code. So I'm going to run node server.js, and that should start up the API. And then I'm going to go to the front end folder, and I'm going to run npm run start, and that should crank up a development server for us to use. All right, and it has opened up, and now we see our tickets that we had before. So when we click, we see that the values up here change. Okay, so we see that the ID2 is there. If I click on this one, we should see those values there. So we see that I clicked on the third ticket. So now we have a 3, says anything, medium, rejected, and the actual dates that are down here. Okay, and same thing for 1. So if we want to update a ticket, I'm going to click on this third ticket, and I'm going to change this to high. I'm going to change this to completed, and I'm going to change this to anything else. Okay, and then we hit submit. We see that it has changed. So we see anything else, we see high, and we see completed. All right, so we changed those values here, and that is exactly what we wanted. So also let's confirm that creating a new ticket still works. So I'm going to refresh this because at the moment we don't have a way to clear this out. So that's something we can do in a future video. But right now I'm going to say a new ticket. All right, we're going to set this to medium and in progress. Hit submit, and there it goes. So we have a new ticket, medium, in progress with the dates. All right, so this is all working. So we can click there on 2, pops up for the new ticket. All right, so it looks like everything is working. This is pretty much it for this video. In the next video, we can go ahead and work on actually deleting these tickets from this list. And yeah, that's what we'll do in the next video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel and all that jazz. And I will see you guys in the next video.